Speaking of Ohio State and the Michigan rivalry, a guy that knows a lot about that is a guy that went to your high school. Jonathan Wells, a former Ohio State Buckeye, joins us here. And Chris, I know you're excited to talk to a guy that had to follow in your footsteps there in Louisiana.
Yeah, he followed, but didn't follow them enough. He went to Ohio State, but I don't hold that against him, though.
Well, we get an opportunity to speak with Jonathan now, and I guess, Jonathan, the first thing to talk about is the inconsistent play of Ohio State over the course of the past couple weeks. What have you seen out of the Buckeyes that makes them have such ups and downs this season?
Man, honestly, man, that Iowa game, it's just one of those games where you have that type of day. You come out, you throw a pick six on the first play of the game, and that kind of just set the tone for the rest of the day. We just didn't play up the standard. And, in football, it happens, you know what I mean? But other than that, I think we've been fairly consistent. We've been playing really well. Other than that one game and the Oklahoma game, they came in and put it on us as well. But, that's a part of the deal. We had a very young wide receiver core coming into the season. None of those guys had any experience. So I expected for us to take a little bit of time to get into a rhythm passing the ball. And, once we got into that rhythm, we've been okay since then. They've been doing okay.
Awesome. Jonathan, real quick, I want to ask you a question. J.T. Barrett, a lot of it has been made about his performance over the last, couple weeks, whether or not he's been consistent enough. But, I mean, if you go back and really look at his record, look at what he's done, he's been outstanding. And the one thing about J.T. Barrett is he's a veteran. He runs this team, but he's been getting a lot of flack about not being consistent in big games. I've even seen you a couple of times talk about J.T. Barrett. What have you seen that gives you a little bit more confidence in J.T. Barrett running his team?
Well, I don't have any doubts that J.T. Barrett is one of the best leaders Ohio State has ever had at the quarterback position. I would have loved to play with the guy. I mean, he's 64% in his career. He's passed for almost 9,000 yards, 99 touchdowns. I mean, there's not a lot to complain about. Listen, football is a team sport. And if your offensive line is not giving you time sometimes and then your receivers can't get away from one-on-one coverage, what are you supposed to do? Sometimes it just happens like that. I think J.T. Barrett has had an excellent career at Ohio State. Now, can he be better? Of course. But I don't have too many complaints about the way J.T. Barrett has handled his business. I mean, he's won over 30 games as a starter at Ohio State. It's not too much you can complain about. Football is a team sport. And also, I think sometimes the offensive coordinators put him in a bad situation because we don't stick to what Ohio State football is, which is running the football. For instance, we played against Iowa. Both of our running backs had a combined 11 carries. Like, come on, we can't win football games like that. So Kevin Wilson has to do a better job of running the football. That makes it a lot easier on the quarterback position, as you know, Chris.
Well, and that's the thing, Jonathan, is that's been a criticism over the past couple of years of Urban Meyer and the handling of the running game at Ohio State. When you look at the talent they've had, Ezekiel Elliott not getting enough carries at times, and now you talk about Mike Weber and the running game they have now, what kind of advice would you give to the offensive coaching staff at Ohio State to utilize that running game?
Run the football, man. Y'all know what we do up here in Buckeye Land. Get the ball to the running backs. Listen, the Ohio State offense, we've had great wide receivers throughout our history, but this offense runs through the running back. Let's be clear. Listen, you got a freshman, J.K. Diamonds, who came out the gate, shot out of the gate out of nowhere, who's incredible. You got a redshirt sophomore who's come back, who's rushed for over 1,200 yards last year as a freshman. Like, come on, let these guys carry the load. They're not going to be able to stop our running game, and we're consistent. Every time we don't get the ball to the running back, 2015, Ezekiel Elliott, we didn't give him the ball, we lost to Michigan State. Same thing when we lost in the Big Ten Championship to Michigan State in 2013. Listen, the formula is run the football. Nobody can stop the run against us consistently when we do that.
I agree, Jonathan, and I'll even use Michigan as an example. Last year, in each of Michigan's losses, they averaged 2.1 yards a carry. If you don't run the ball well, you will lose the game. And every time Ohio State has gotten away from running the ball, they lost the game.
Yeah, totally agree. So, it's very, as a running back, it's very frustrating for me. I was actually at the game in 2015. I had 50-yard line seats. I'm in a great spot. They didn't give the ball to him in the first half. I left the game. I'm like, dude, we're going to lose. This is not going to work. If they're going to continue to do this, we have no shot tonight. And exactly what happened, we lost our last-minute field goal. Man, feed the beast, man. That's what running backs at Ohio State come here to do. We come here to set the tone and make sure that we get out of here to win. J.T. Barrett's great, but I'm not going to put him before that running game. Let's be clear.
Hey, Jonathan, the graphic we have up for you right now is the running back that broke the curse versus Michigan. That was, of course, the Jim Tressel-led team. Think back on your experiences with Coach Tressel, and what kind of comparisons can you draw between the teams that you played for with him and then looking at what Ohio State's doing right now with Urban Meyer?
Well, I can't make any comparisons because we sucked when I was there, let's be clear. But as far as the big game, Tressel was very unique in the fact that he made that game totally special from the first day that he stepped on campus. Like, we used to watch film on Michigan started in spring football. We had never done that with John Cooper. Like, we used to watch it all spring, all summer. It was always something around that building about the game. That's what really changed the title. So by the time we got to the game, to be honest, I was sick and tired of hearing about Michigan. I'm like, man, listen, we got to go out here and get a win because, you know, we had came close my sophomore year. We lost by 7 to Tom Brady. They came back and beat us. And then my senior year, I'm like, I'm not leaving out of here without a victory. And, you know, from that day on, it's been, I think, we're, 14-2 in the rivalry. So, yeah, it's definitely the day that we broke the curse. I definitely believe that.
Jonathan, you just had to bring that up.
Bring that 14
you had to bring that up, man.
I'm just giving the facts, brother. That's all. Listen, because I know you weren't hesitant to give the facts in the 90s, were you?
Listen, but what happens between me and you and we say between each other, that's between me and you, brother.
Got you. Yeah.
Well, I'll delve into that personal relationship a little bit. How about Jonathan following in Chris's footsteps in high school? How many times did you hear, well, Chris Howard did it this way, and why don't you do it more like Chris Howard did it? What was that kind of thing you guys heard?
Listen, Chris Howard made me the beast that I am today. When I walked on campus at John Curtis as a young 8th grade snotty-nosed kid who didn't know anything, him and my man Kevin Dukes were my heroes. They were everything. I mean, I've seen this man rush for over 300 yards in a game. I've seen Kevin Dukes rush for 300 yards in a game. The things that they did in high school, you didn't have a choice but to be great coming behind them. So that was just the expectation I had. This is the way my big dogs did it, and we're going to continue the tradition. We won our last 2 state championships my junior and senior year, and from that point we went to 19 championships in a row. So I take a lot of pride in leaving that championship DNA that Chris and Kevin instilled in me. So Chris was a huge influence on my game in high school. I looked up to this guy and still do.
A pretty good run of championship performances right there for John Carroll High School. Or John Curtis High School, I should say.
John Curtis, don't do that.
So I don't want to get you wrong. I don't want to get you wrong. Hey, before we let you go, Jonathan, I know that a lot of Ohio State fans are out there. They want to know what you're up to right now and where we can follow you on social media.
I'm on Instagram at jwellsmediagroup.com and then also just on LinkedIn. I haven't really been on social media. I actually just created an Instagram page maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe. Just been laying low, just graduated from Ohio Media School for TV and radio broadcasting and also film. So I'm launching a production company up in Cleveland right now that's going to be focused on documentaries, sports reality shows, and some other TV content type of things. So I'll definitely keep you guys posted on when I launch my first project.
That sounds great, man. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Oh, man, appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
Jonathan Wells, former Ohio State running back, the running back that broke the curse, if you will.